Okay, so let's connect an event for the button click. So let's go back to our Java file, main activity. And let's add another method. So we need a method that's going to be called when the button is clicked. And then we're going to connect that method to the button in the UI. So let's call it button on click. So you can call it whatever you want, as long as it takes a view object as a parameter, then you're good. Because you're going to see in a minute that we're going to need to access this view object. So now I'm getting a red word here in Android Studio. So that is because I haven't imported the view from the framework. So in order to do that, I'll just click on it, and I will hit Alt, return. Okay, Alt return, and it adds it to the import statements, which is here. So here you can see it did import Android view. So actually I'm on a Mac, so it's Option return or Alt enter. That combination of keys. Okay, so now we just created our button on click method that's going to be called when we click on our button in the UI. So let's go back to the XML, and we want to connect the button click with our method that we just created in the Java file. So let's click on the button, and we can go back to the properties window over here, and let's look for the property on click. So that's here. You can click here, and then go to the drop-down, and you'll see the possible options that you can use for this, and we're going to select the method that we just wrote, which is button on click. Okay, so that now connects it. So now what do we actually want to do when the button's clicked? So that we have to define in this method here in the Java file. So for now, let's just have the text of the button change. So this is where we need to look into the view object that we pass as an argument to the button on click method. So let's get a reference to the button that was clicked. So we can say button B equals button B. So what happens here is we want to look into the view, but we need to know that it's a button in order to call the setText method, which is what we're going to do in a second. So we need to cast the view to a button object. Now for anyone who's not familiar with Java or Java casting or things, or is lost with Java programming, just send me an email and we can arrange for some more tutorials on Java programming. So here again, I have my button class that's not implemented, or it's not imported rather, so I need to import it. And now I'm going to set the text by doing b.setText to just clicked. Okay, so now this should change the text of the button when I click on the button when I run the app. So now we're going to go ahead and run our app with the emulator. So for this assignment, I strongly suggest deploying on a device because the emulator is atrocious. It's really, really slow. Basically, it's literally to the slowness that I have to get up and do something else and then come back. So I strongly suggest deploying on a device instead, but if you have no other option, you can use the emulator. For this video, I'm going to use the emulator because it's easier for me to record the screenshot. So I'm going to hit start, and then I'm going to take a break and come back in the next video, and we'll see how the app looks.